Okay, I guess people are here. I'm just trying to figure out where you are. Let me just keep. Here we go. Okay. Is this it? No. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where you are. Usually takes a minute. Oh, you guys are here? Okay. Wait a minute. Now I see a bunch of folks. Okay, got the chat thing. I'm sorry about I haven't figured out this camera 100%, but it's a little bit better than it was. You guys are all here. Okay. We have 102 people. All right, excellent. Let me see if I can get on Rumble. Okay, where is Rumble? Maybe I have to turn off. I don't seem to be able to get Rumble at this point. I think I'll have to. Anyway, let's just say hello. And I assume the guys on Rumble are okay. Let me just see if I can. I'll try one more time. I'll try them in a few minutes. I'll try to just refresh. Nothing. Okay. I think I have to turn off my phone to do it. Sorry, guys. So I'm sorry about the icons on the camera. It's a brand new camera and I haven't figured it out yet. Turn this thing off. General. Shut down. Okay, I'm turning the Howie Weinstein Lila Tove. Okay. We are good on Rumble. Okay, you guys are good on Rumble. Okay, fine. I just have to connect. Hey, Jill. Yeah, I'm Jill. Maybe you'll help me get rid of these icons. I assume you guys see the icons. I can't do it, but it's still the 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 camera is 1,000 times better than the old one. So I just have to figure things out. I also did a little soundproofing, so everything is like kind of new to me, but it should be exciting, right? All right, let's see. Yeah, Jenny Miner. Yeah, maybe Jenny Miner will tell me. She can tell me why I have icons there. It goes away sometimes, but anyway, we'll figure it out. Thanks, Jill. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you could see behind better. That's good, and it's a totally foggy night. So, this is where we're heading. We're heading towards a better production. The sound quality should be a little bit better. Let's see if I can get this. The sound quality should be better. Let's see. I was actually heading the other way, but that's fine. All right. Anyway, so hi, hi everybody. Sorry, I'm a little, after Shabbos, it's a little, it takes me a few minutes to acclimate back to this reality. I had a really nice Shabbos. It was very quiet. I went for a nice long walk on the beach in the pouring rain, which I don't usually do, but I really wanted to walk on the beach. And the beach was closed because I think it's the sanderlings or the plovers. I think, yeah, the plovers are reproducing. They're making eggs and they're laying on their things. So, but that didn't really deter me, even though it was roped off. I'm pretty resistant to instructions in general, which is why I've been married so many times. I don't listen to instructions. In fact, as a contractor, I learned right away. Yeah, I was a contractor for 20 years, and I learned right away and still to this day, you take when you get something that has instructions, you take the instructions and you throw them away right away because they just confuse you. But anyway, so yeah, so I didn't listen to the instructions and I went for a walk and I met a woman named Ellen who was also out in the pouring rain. I thought she was going to yell at me and tell me to get out of the plover reproductive area, but she said that she had gone on a tour before, and the environmentalists had actually brought her down to see the plovers reproducing. So I felt better, like I wasn't really violating their space as much as the environmentalists did, and that while she was there, she lost her keys and her wallet, but she found her keys on the way back. And she was looking for a wallet, and I told her if I saw her wallet, I would definitely get a hold of her. I didn't see the wallet, but I did get home, and this is the first time in my memory that I can ever remember. But I have really good like boots for walking in the tide in the rain, and they're like totally waterproof. They're like rubber boots. And when I got home, I actually inverted the boot, and rainwater had collected, like a fair amount of rainwater had collected in my boot. So it was a memorable experience all the way around. I think in general that when you're out in the rain, you're making a memory. That if you're out in the rain, I mean, I feel like I can remember every time I've ever been stuck out in the rain, especially if you do, I think it's called a stop point or a game save or something like that. The gamers use it. If you register, like I once was in a pouring downpour in the middle of Crown Heights on Shabbos, and my son and I went under under a like a building awning type thing. And I said to Mendel, I said, we're always going to remember this moment. And I do. We do. I'm sure he remembers it too. We were just standing there and the rain was coming down so hard that there was nothing we could do about it. Anyway, and also, yeah, thank you, Jenny. Yeah, let's do a Zoom sometime. Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to propose, and I don't know if Jenna's here, but if Jen is here, the Zoom meeting, I'm going to send out a vote to see if people want to do a woman's meeting, maybe instead of like me being there. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the ladies were very happy to have a place to chat. So it's definitely a possibility, or maybe we could just do it week by week. We could figure out if this this keeps flicking on and on. I know there's a thing. I had it pressed and then I changed all the settings. Um, the picture is really clear. Yeah, it's a really good picture. I just have to figure out how to get the icons out, but it's a totally different ball game, man. And I don't have to worry. I don't think about it turning off when it gets too hot. That was the real reason that I got this new camera. But I wanna thank everyone, that supported the channel through the products and everything else. That's how I was able to do it. A couple weeks ago, I started wanting this camera, and wasn't able to do it, but, things are going better with the products, with, our fave raves with, ASEA, right? ASEA and Life Life Waves. I'm not gonna put I don't know if yeah, and Life Waves and Purium. Right. So that's really helping. So that way I don't have to eat the bread of shame. You can see the lights behind us. It's pretty cool, right? It's much better than the other camera. My baby crows were all over my lawn today, enjoying the rain. And a bunny stopped in. How cute, Sassy Cindy. That's beautiful. The dinosaurs are gone, you think? Oh, Tanya, honey, you sent me a message. I can't remember what it was. Something about, oh, am I on Facebook? I am on Facebook. I think I'm under Ellie Weber, and there's only one B in Weber. I think so, or I might actually be under Guru on Facebook. I'm not sure. You like the new camera? Thank you. Let's see if I can pin. Can I pin this? Yeah. Change the aspect on the camera to aspect. Okay, the aspect ratio. Okay, okay. Let me write that down. If I could find a pen, I promise myself I'm always going to have a pen by my side. But the aspect ratio. Okay, aspect ratio. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of out of my. It's really out of my league. This whole camera business, but I'm stumbling through it to the best of my ability. AS rocks. Thank you. See, I also think it rocks. Thank you so much. Um, it was Ellie Weber. Yeah. Oh, you found it. It could be Ellie Weber on Facebook. Yeah, it could very well be. I'm not really sure. I don't really use Facebook that much, although it's a nice way to, to see your friends, to see what they look like. I'm I'm about to make an order with Spiritual Bean Coffee. I'm just enjoying everything in life. I should take some photos and I will edit for you. Okay, you should take some photos. All right. The picture does really look good. Okay, that's good. So you guys all agree that it's better now. Yeah, it looks more real. Okay, so that's really good. All right, shall we Okay, so here's what I thought on Shabbos. I'm just going to share like basically what I think. They can't agree on a budget. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's also really they seem so gentle and sweet. Is that really true? I don't know if that's really true. I don't want to spread fake news, but I'm pretending the tripod is a UFO. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about the tripod icon. It's pretty silly, right? I'm sure some of you photo sharpies can tell me what to do. Picture on your site never looked bad. It didn't look bad. Yeah, it was good. Now that I have two cameras, I can set up the second camera so that when I play guitar, you'll be able to see the guitar. So Jill is helping me with this. We knew about those cameras 2 years ago. Thicker and thicker. Yeah. Well, it is thicker because I haven't gotten a haircut lately. So, but yeah, it's growing in these like these bald spots. But I want you guys to have a fair, like this one really, this one was really growing in a lot more than anyway. I mean, it's growing in the front. That's the weird thing. It's like I'm like a teenager again in the front. Not that I would notice, but these icons are called on-screen display setting. Okay, on-screen display. So by next time I'll have that on-screen display. I think it was something I took off right away and then I put back on. On-screen display. On-screen display. Thanks. I'm not going to do it now because I mean, unless you guys really want me to, if it's really annoying. Kind of late. Yeah, it's very late today. I mean, I Shabbos is ending later and later, and then it'll get earlier and earlier. But as we come into summer, Shabbos ends later. Mohawk, a mohawk, yeah. I look like a pro in no time, right? Mark C thinks Charlie Ward is a good guy. Like the lighting effects. Thanks. Yeah, I like the. I mean, I really wanted. You can't really see much back there because it's really foggy here. I mean, it's really, really foggy. But once we get up and running, I think this will be much better for the daytime shots too. And also, I mean, the sound for me is much better. I mean, I can really hear myself speak I put sound things all over the studio, so Yeah, it actually looks like a studio now. We even put a curtain between the studio and the rest of the room, so to dampen the sound, and it's I put curtains over here. I'm gonna put curtains behind me for, maybe I don't need them. I don't know, for nighttime, but anyway, Charlie Ward posted he's in the hospital. We've not seen 68 in Anchorage. Hey, I was booted from this chat 2 years ago for saying Whip was a scamming thief. Okay, whatever. Whatever, I don't hold grudges personally. You're not too late. Thank you. Oh, Lee Steele. Okay. I think Charlie is good. Foggy here also chosen. It's Foggy by you? Yeah, because we're not that far from each other. I think Charlie is good. So I'm not sure about Mark says Charlie is the real deal. Okay. Whatever, Hey, oh, I see hearts, man. I gotta check out the hearts. I'm catching a show kind of late. It's good to see you. We missed you. Oh, thanks, Lee. Appreciate it. It was okay, so let me go down. Okay, let me just see if I can get Rumble now. I'm going to turn on the any cool intel coming in. Oh, so the thing I had, if I was to rant, I would rant like this: that I stopped watching movies like about 30 years ago. I just stopped watching, period. I used to love to watch movies with my first wife. Every weekend we rented a movie together and we watched it. And then I think we had VCRs and we bought a tape. Every weekend we would buy a movie and watch it together. It was really nice. And then at some point, I don't know if it was during my marriage or when the marriage ended, I said, why am I watching other people's adventures? And I just totally stopped watching any kind of entertainment type things. And my life has been like I've really been living my adventure for many years. So here we go. Okay, now I have the chat on Rumble. So I want to say, I thought to myself that just like we don't wanna watch entertainment, we also don't wanna get too involved in the movie that we're watching in terms of the storm. I mean, in other words, we wanna notice it, but we don't need to get completely bent out of shape over every little thing that's happening. We need to just stay calm and collected and remember that we're watching a movie and it's no different from watching a regular movie. In other words, we don't wanna be like in the Matrix. We wanna be if we're anywhere, we wanna be observing the Matrix, but not personally involved to the point where we're engaging our emotions. So I think it's very critical that I mean, I remember as soon as, like, I get into, like an emotional situation in my life, I go and I start saying Rabono Shalom, which means master of the universe, master on the in breath and of the universe on the out breath. I mean, that's just my personal mantra. I used to have another mantra. My guru gave me a mantra, and it's really helpful to have a mantra ready at all times, I think. I don't know how to get rid of this now. Yeah, just write it out. Exactly, just write it out. To take a deep breath, but try not to get involved. Try to stay a little bit aloof from the news, especially emotionally, because this is all about ascension. It's all about each and every one of us connecting to source. How do we do that? I mean, it's very easy to say connect to source. And I'm not saying I'm like a Zen master or anything that I'm totally connected to source. But my life is so much different and so much better than it used to be when I took everything personal. I mean, I was just like, I was so sensitive, like I guess I'm an empath, but I'm just like super sensitive to the vibrations of others. So that's why for me personally it's very helpful to live alone because I don't have any interference. I don't have I know that if I'm out of sorts, it's because 'cause I'm out of sorts, not because my partner or my friend or, my whatever is out of sorts, and so I think a lot of us on the channel do live alone, I've talked to a lot of people, and I don't think it's a really bad thing. I think it's kind of a really good thing because you really get to examine. You can't blame it on somebody else, and you really have to examine yourself. So I think that's very important that we constantly remind ourselves that the whole game plan here is not to get into the monopoly money thing with the debt ceiling and freaking out about all these little things, actually quite big things. I mean, like the children, the thing with the children is heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, we have to just remember that we have been robbed, we have been stripped of our powers by an evil matrix, and the matrix wants to keep us from understanding the power that we really have. So another thing that I wanna add to this is the idea that we do not need anybody else to tell us or to lead us or to inspire us or to look towards in terms of ascension. And I want to just tell a brief story that I know I've told at least a dozen times. And I know I've told it to Gila because I just told it to her again. And she says, "Oh, yeah, I've heard that at least 15 times. Sorry, Gila." But I just want to remind everyone that my Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who, I still follow. He still comes to me in the dream a lot. I think he's starting to visit me. I'm starting to I'm starting to remember my dreams, which I think is very yeah, okay, now I'm getting my flow again. I'm starting to remember my dreams. And that was something that I lost when I started growing up into the matrix. When I was a child, I used to dream vividly all the time. It was, I had nightmares too, but I dreamt. And I'm starting to get my ability to dream back. It's really a pleasure. But I do the Rebbe does visit me. I don't know if he's like wants to grab me and tell me I'm off base. I'm seeing the number 613 because there's 613 commandments in the Torah. I'm seeing that number it seems like every time I look at the clock, it says 613. But the Rebbe, they're about like I think there's something like maybe 50 different Hasidic groups. There could be more. What is a Hasidic group? A Hasidic group means that you have a Rebbe, that you have a leader. That's the difference between Hasidim and Orthodox, okay? Orthodox people, they don't have a rebbe. They have a rabbi. The rabbi's like a good talker and he gives speeches on Shabbos or whatever. But Hasidim have a rebbe, and a rebbe is somebody like you go to if you're having an issue, if you have a problem, or even like with your avoda, you're not davening, you're not praying right, and or any kind of thing. Or if you can't have children, you go to the rebbe, and the rebbe puts in a good word for you and he tries to fix it. If God forbid you have a child who's sick, you go to the Rebbe and the Rebbe fixes it. So our Rebbe, so there are a lot of Hasidic groups. Our Rebbe, my Rebbe, was considered the leader of the generation by a lot of different groups. A lot of different Jews considered the Rebbe to be the man, like the Mashiach of the generation. And there's a custom amongst Hasidic groups that when the grand Rebbe, when the big guy eats food, he puts his hands on the food, he touches it, and then he passes it out to everybody, to all his Hasidim. So you get a bracha, you get a blessing by eating the food of the holy man, of the Rebbe. So what I'm saying is we don't need to do that. We don't need any holy men. I don't need to be your holy man. You know, Simon Parks or any of these guys. I mean, for me, I love SG Anon. Okay, so but he's not my Rebbe. But the point is like this. Also, Fulford, Benjamin Fulford, I really enjoy his take on things. But the point is like this, that most of the Hasidic groups have a Rebbe, a leader, a spiritual leader, and he would put his hands on the food and pass it out. Our Rebbe said, "No, no, 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 no." He says, "I'm not doing that for you guys. You have to do your own ascension. You have to do your own avoda, your own service to God." And I think that's a very good message for everyone. That you don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind blows. And that's what got us into this mess in the first place. We trusted the dudes. We said, they're elites. They went to good colleges. They're smarter than me. But you know what? They're not smarter. They're just more evil. And at the end of the day, we cannot eat shirayim. That's what it's called. Shirayim means like leftovers. Okay. So we do not, Chassidim, from my Chassidic sect, do not eat shirayim. I've actually eaten shirayim from other rebbes. I've gone to other rebbes' tishes, that means their tables, and I have eaten shirayim. But our Rebbe says no, you have to do your own work. And that's what this whole ascension thing is. That we can't blame somebody else, we can't look to somebody else, we can't depend on somebody else. We need to do our own work and just stay focused, focus, focus, ascension. That's what 17 said. That's what this is all about. It's all about a personal journey. Yes, it's a collective journey as well. And yes, we have friends, and we have coworkers in godliness here, and we're all growing together. We're all growing as one collective humanity. We're having a huge wake up call when we find out, as we find out what's been happening, what's really been happening, while the dudes are putting on this big show about Republicans and Democrats and the economy. In the meantime, they're like stealing everything they can. If they can't steal it, they trick us out of it. They instead of raising taxes, they raise the gas prices. They do everything they can to swindle us. Mortgages, interest rates, food bills, everything. If they can't just steal it outright, they will steal it in another way that makes you think like, wow, prices are so high. That's by design. They do this on purpose. They are banksters. The bankers, the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, the whole schmear, everyone, all of them are thieves. No other way to put it. And they want it all. And if you're a big investor, and if you're with the right people, you'll always win, right? I'm thinking about a friend of mine who invested with that guy. Remember that big scammer? I forget his name offhand. But anyway, I had a friend who did very well, was very successful at a young age, and he invested a lot of money with one of those big scammers. I don't know, but he still owns an island off the coast of Maine, so I don't think he's actually hurting for money. But it's like, so yeah, so even nice people, if you're not connected, if you don't have a reptilian tail tucked into your pants, you may not always fall out on the right side of things. Although I personally believe that the military is in control, and a lot of these guys have already been taken out. They said there are boats going, a continual flow of people heading towards Gitmo and other locations for tribunals, and tribunals will be made public soon, I believe, and then everybody will wake up. But we don't have to worry about everyone. We just have to worry about our own personal ascension. And I would say, do not eat shirayim. We do not have to look up to anybody. We just have to look to ourselves, to our inner source, to our connection to godliness. We can go straight, man. We don't need intermediaries. We don't need to eat shirayim. We don't need the Rebbe to give us a bracha, a blessing. We just need to take a deep breath and come into the now, come into the present moment, and realize like everything's really cool, man. Everything's fine in this moment. Nothing to worry about. We're good. And if you remember that in all moments, eventually the moments will start to line up next to each other, and you'll always be in a good moment. You'll always be present. Now, good doesn't necessarily mean easy. Sometimes hard is good. And that's something about the spheros that I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to end my little rant with this thought that I had. This just came out like it was a download from. It just came out of nowhere. But for years, I've been talking about the 10 spheros. And there's chokmah, which is the male aspect, and bina, which is the female aspect. And these two forces, like your left and right hemispheres of your brain, let's say, can be having this kind of intellectual back and forth. The chokmah, the male aspect, gives you like just the inspiration. The female develops the details, just like the female develops the embryo into all its parts. But there could be this kind of an intellectual framework going on, and then it's das. Das is the sphere. The third sphere is das, and das can intermediate between this discussion. Das can say, you know what, man, I see what you guys are saying. I kind of agree with this one, but I kind of agree with that one, but I see the truth. I'm going straight up. And it occurred to me in a flash sometime during Shabbos. I was thinking about how I need to teach more Kabbalah, and really that people should understand it's the language of consciousness. And it's good. I mean, the evil ones have perverted it into a force for evil, but it's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful way of understanding godliness, because according to our mystic sages, this is how God presents himself in this realm. But it occurred to me that I'm always thinking that das, which means knowledge, and we're eating now from the tree of knowledge, right? And in the Garden of Eden, God said, if they eat from the tree of life, they will live forever. Right? And that was and we will be like gods. We will be like them. We will be connected to source. Actually, I think we're going to be an improvement over the galactics. I mean, the galactics that because we are trusting, loving beings, and we have this reptilian DNA, and we're using the demon of doubt. Now we're getting along, right? And we're taking the energy from that reptilian brain. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the das, which translates as knowledge, like the tree of knowledge. when das when that intermediary between in the discussion recognizes godliness and goes straight up, it could be a reference to the pineal gland. It could be that when we transfer, when we use the tree of knowledge to eat from the tree of life, it's as simple as going from the intellect to knowing, to the pineal gland, to understanding, to just knowing, you know what? I may not understand this. I don't really know. I don't really understand your argument. I don't necessarily understand what you're saying, but I recognize the truth. I don't know why I recognize it, but I know that's right. And that's when we connect on that level, we will be eating from the tree of life and we will live forever. I think we already do. I think we're already connected to the tree of life. But it is that shift from a kind of a lower intellectual state into just knowing. And when you're in the moment, you just know. And I had experiences on Shabbos where that just blew my mind. I was like, I was, I it's not totally kosher, but I was doing some fixing things because it's the only time I have to fix things. And I thought I made a mistake, but the mistake led me to understand that the mistake was not a mistake. It was an improvement on what I had thought was the right way. So, in other words, when you're in your pineal gland, when you're in your das, when you're in your state of knowing, you're always in the flow, and God is right there. I mean, we call it God, but it's not. When you say God, you think of something that's separate from you. it's part of you. God is very close, very near to you. That's what it says in Tanya in Mystic Judaism. God is very near to you. You just have to get out of your own way. That's really what it is. Just stop thinking so much, which is easier said than done. I mean, I know when I was having really hard times when I was younger, my brain would not turn off. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I mean, my brain was constantly 24/7 going through these like rotations of not necessarily very healthy kind of thinking. But when you can get beyond your intellect, and it's as simple as just knowing, it's not, it doesn't take a huge effort. In fact, if you use a huge effort, you probably won't be able to get there. That's the whole point. You just have to really just take a breath and accept that you are completely godly, and that maybe we shouldn't even call it godly, but just say you are completely connected, because it seems like when we say God, we think of like something other than us, but it's not separate. In fact, there is nothing but God. It's just that God gives his creations the ability to think that they are separate, in order to give them. Hey, Shira. Yeah, Shira has great affirmations and meditations, and yeah, I will say, I said to one of my friends that I'm speaking to. I have some friends now. I have friends on the that I speak to on the side, and they make me feel less lonely. I mean, it helps to have people to talk to. Um, but that we really just have to get out of our own way. I forget what I was going with that, but anyway, It's it's a marvelous universe even when it's raining, man, even when your boots are full of water, it's a discovery, but we are more connected to source, and we don't need anyone to explain it to us. In fact, if you start thinking about it and you start explaining to yourself, like, "Well, I need to do this kind of meditation, or I need to do that." I mean, I would say, go with Shira's idea of affirmations to get past your conscious mind. I mean, I told a friend that the reason I'm here today, the reason I'm making this broadcast, is because a couple years ago I said I'm tired of being a failure, and I want to know what it is to be successful. But I knew I couldn't do it I couldn't convince myself. I couldn't take the demon of doubt at that point and say, okay, man, let's be successful now. The demon of doubt was too strong. So I started listening to all these self-hypnotic things on the web. I used to go to hypnotists back in the day, but now you could just go on the web and listen to, when you go to sleep at night, listen to an affirming tape that'll tell you you're going to be successful. That's what it takes, because the matrix is in your conscious mind, and we need to get past the conscious mind in order to get to our godly mind. I don't want to call it godly. I mean, in order to get to our real self, to get to our higher self, to contact the real you, you just have to get past the matrix you. And that's easy, that's easy to say, but it may be a little more challenging for some others. Oh, sorry, for some than others, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so that's just a thought for today. All right, so now you guys ready? Um, Mr. T back on the 25th. That sounds good. Brunson case, emergency rule. Okay. 524. I'm a little suspicious of dates, but Mr. T back on the 25th. That would be nice. Right. Where they're throwing at us, right? Because the conscious mind has been polluted by the dudes, and they're convoluted, chaos bound, confusing, fear based craziness that just makes us nuts. Took us there 20 years ago. Yeah, this is great stuff. It's great stuff. But if you can't afford a hypnotherapist, just do it yourself, man. Just go online. That's what I did. I said, man, I'm tired of being a failure. And, although I really would not be here today. I mean, I'm amazed that I am here. It's just, I mean, I don't really attach anything like, "Oh, yeah, I'm really good at this, and that's why I'm here." I don't think like that. I just I because I have a naturally, I've been beaten down all my life maybe, but I don't really care to think about it, like, like I'm a special person. I don't think of it that way. I just think that like, God is with me, and I tapped into my higher power, my higher source, and really the best thing I can do when I'm speaking is not be here. Like the part of me that is, the conscious mind that thinks and worries and judges and, did I really say the right thing? Should talk about something else? I mean, I don't have those kinds of thoughts. And if I did, I wouldn't be able to do this. But I think everyone is really capable and deserves to be in their own higher self and to do what they love with their life. That's the bottom line. Anyway, so let's go to the intel. That's my little intro. That's what I was thinking about today. We are love, right? Yeah, that's really true. We are love, and we're uncomplicated. We're simple at our best. At our best, we're simple. We're loving. We're direct. We're honest. We're straightforward. We're easy. We're uncomplicated. When we are in our power, which is our birthright. It's just that the evil ones have been taking that away from us, but their time is done. Dance with our higher selves. Yeah, a very smart man. One of my first teachers on this pathway told me, think with your heart and dance with your mind. I thought that was a good way to sum it up. He was his name is Greg Whitehunt, and he makes flutes. If you ever want to buy like the coolest flute, he grows his own bamboo. He's an engineer also on the side, and a French horn player, and a shaman. And he makes his own flute and flute music. But when you hang out with Greg, kind of like the shamans in the ayahuasca circles, he'll play his flute, eh, while you're involved in an exploration. Like he took me once to a virgin forest in North Carolina that was just absolutely one of the most beautiful sights I've ever beheld in my life. It was just, to see a virgin. I love trees and I love old forests, but this was like the first really bona fide um prim, original forest that I've ever seen, and it was stunning. It was just like there was no undergrowth, and it was so dramatic. It's like when the weather hits, there would be like a whole grove of trees knocked down. I mean, it was drama and it was order at the same time. It was just stunning, absolutely stunning. But Greg would play his flute as we would go through this. We were probably tripping our brains out of this, of course, but he would play his flute, and as we were going through these experiences, and he was just tremendous teacher for me. He plays the flute while you're talking to elves, yeah. Peace pipe, yeah, man. It was really fun. Good Tavach Haley. Good Chodesh. Beautiful. Yeah, it's nice to be in the woods. Okay, Jenny, I'll try to get a hold of that. Let's see if we have any next weekend is a long weekend, Memorial Day. It's also Shavuos. It commemorates the day that the weekend that the Jews received the Torah from Mount Torah, when Moses went up on the mountain and came back with the no, it wasn't that. It was God came down personally and gave the 10 commandments, and they were all blown out of their bodies by the power of God's speech, like miles out of their body. And when they got back to their bodies, they said to Moses, Moses, why don't you talk to him, man? We're not really down for this particular adventure, this part of the adventure. So, could you talk to him? It's like a little much for us. All right, so let's go to the intel, guys. Let's check it out. All right, you ready? Here we go. Back in the saddle, man. A new week. Okay, how do I go up? I go up. I go here. I go like this. Okay, here we go. So I'm looking at George News. Thanks to everyone who came out to the breakfast. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to go to a different channel. Oh, here's something from Scavino. Let me just read this. 6 years ago. Okay, they're talking about how Saudi Arabia was completely transformed by Mr. T. They're saying whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death. And they have a picture of Ron DeSantis. I don't know what that's about. The Democratic National Headquarters was evacuated today after a suspicious package arrived. It turned out to be a copy of the Constitution of the United States, which none of them had seen before. Okay, here's drop 414. Hope you enjoyed the Xmas decor. POTUS will verify directly to provide crumb authority for dissemination. We are crushing these sick people. God bless. All right, I'm going to go to another channel. I just want to see what White Hats are up to. Okay, I think these are new. Are these new posts? Let's see. Um, I don't think these are all new. I think these are old. Durham. All right, I'm just going to go to the end here. I don't really have unveiling the keys to expose a military coup. The recent admission by the DOJ Inspector General regarding the FIBI's warrantless backdoor searches on American citizens has shed light on a concerning issue. While the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, was originally intended for targeting surveillance of foreigners, the FIBI has been exploiting it to conduct surveillance on Americans through covert means. I think we may have read this, but I'm going to read it again. In 2021, there was a staggering 3.4 million backdoor searches conducted, as disclosed in the 2022 Transparency Report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. This revolution prompted Gates to question Horowitz about the legitimacy of these searches. Numerous questions arise in light of these findings. Who authorized the FISA warrants against Flynn? Were there FISA warrants issued against Mr. T, his campaign, and his aides? Who approved the FISA warrants to spy on millions of U.S. citizens? Furthermore, why were FISA warrants utilized to spy on foreign governments and orchestrate color revolutions like those attempted in Egypt and Libya? or even to undermine bin Zalman, understanding the significance of FISA is crucial. 17's repeated warnings about FISA now carry even greater weight. How did 17 possess this knowledge in advance? We did read this before. Consider the implications if we were not here to uncover these truths. While the path ahead is challenging, we must ensure that every step we take adheres to legal protocols. It is essential for ordinary people to comprehend and accept events based on factual information. The FISA revelations serve as a lead in to a broader narrative, the first act in a staged production. This narrative includes removing bad actors, installing good actors, and unmasking sleepers. We are prepared for what lies ahead. FISA reveals a planned military coup against the 45th president. It exposes the deep seated corruption within U.S. intelligence agencies involving elites and even presidents engaged in treasonous acts. Kash Patel urged you to place your trust in Durham, whose saga is yet to unfold, along with the Gilligan's Island and the computer thing sagas. President T himself boldly stated it's treason. Behind the scenes, divisions among U.S. military generals persist, while the White Hats prepare to leak damning evidence and unleash a deluge against the deep state. The involvement of the U.S. military is significant. Furthermore, it is important to recognize that FISA works both ways, and the military White Hats possess comprehensive knowledge. This is not simply another 4-year election cycle. Patriots stand strong as the White Hats begin awakening the masses and initiate congressional hearings and Senate debriefings to legally substantiate the evidence and establish a solid record. It all leads to the implementation of the law of war and the imminent arrest of those involved. November 3rd looms ahead. So, we have to be ready for the long haul, God forbid. Okay, let me go to another station here. I had a new guy, this David Wilcox, I thought was good. No, I don't see it. Let me just try all chats. Here we go. Okay. Arrestees working for foreign deep state governments and agencies were taken to Gitmo, Honduras XPL, Sato Kona, Honduran military base detention center, and Spain's Santa Cruz Islands. Recently, Gitmo was reported to be so full that in order to make way for the 3,000 mass arrests about to take place after invoking the emergency broadcast system in late May, they shipped Gitmo prisoners to Guam. An Antarctic military base detention center was almost full, and others had been taken to detention centers set up for the purpose across the globe. U.S. citizens working for the Rocker People deep state entities were taken to San Juan Guaynabo U.S. military prison in Puerto Rico. Sorry about my pronunciation. And the Fort Worth Naval Base military prison in Texas. There were reports of 40,000 members of the Mexican cartel had recently been jailed in Guatemala. 40,000 members. Remember those pictures of all the guys like sitting together in cross-legged with their hands behind their head? A lot of people have been taken out. RVMZ, I think that's the real Mark Z. The rumors right now are fantastic. I'm hearing there may be actual money moving on Tier 1 side. I have many people claiming this to be true, but no solid proof. These are all steps leading up to Mr. C. MZ, I am hearing phenomenal things about the weekend, hearing phenomenal things about the possibility of an announcement in Iraq tomorrow. MZ, stay calm. There are many pins in the air being juggled right now. A number of large historic bondholders and groups are expecting liquid funds by or in Monday morning as the banking system wakes up here in the States. I do not support this at all. I do not. And this is part of my whole spiel. This is part of what I was saying before. Sorry about the little camera. I do not support waiting for the RV. I like Mark Z. I think he's a great guy. But if these people have been waiting for the RV for years, every week they're being told, okay, this is the week. This is not That's eating Shirayim. That means you are waiting for somebody to save you. That is not the mentality that we need here. We need for everyone to be doing for themselves. You do not need to live like a refugee waiting to be saved by the RV. You need to get out there. Hypnotize yourself if you need to get to your subconscious to feel like a success and do stuff. You have to do it yourself. You want to do it yourself. It's not good if it comes as a gift. That's the problem here. I mean, everyone of these people are waiting to be saved. We in the Kabbalah Guru family, we do not wait. We are pushing ahead. If you're not thinking about success, if you're not actively changing yourself, if you're not pursuing new avenues, new changes, new directions, new businesses, and that's what it comes down to. Join us. Call Jay if you need a new business. Call Jay if you don't have something yourself. But a lot of people on this channel are highly creative. Do not wait, and do not think if you fail at one business, you're a failure. I mean, my experience has been since I got on this success kick, I have failed numerous times, big time. I've lost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for my retirement fund, investing in things that were turned out to be scams and con artists. But that's part of the process. If you lost a lot of money doing something, or you that's just the beginning. That should inspire you to do more, to try something else, to keep going. I mean, that's that's what this great awakening is about. It's not about waiting for the dongs to go up so you can be saved. That is for people who eat shirayim. That's for other chassidim. They go to their rebbe, the rebbe touches the food, they eat it, they're blessed. Now they can go back and just like chill and know that money's going to come to them. That's not us. That's not for us. Because not only do we need to make our own money, not only do we need to make our own success, not only do we need to make our own personal connection to source, but we need to bold ourselves. We need to possess the spirit of success, to possess the spirit of movement, to possess the spirit of revolution, of a worldwide revolution where the people claim what is rightfully theirs. We are all capable of success, and part of success involves failure. I mean, if you ask any of you look at any of these like great businessmen, the great success, besides the fact that they're elites and they cheat. I'm not saying all of them, but if you talk to like a real entrepreneur who's really been through it and is really successful, he'll tell you, I failed at 30 different businesses. Failure is part of success. That's called Gevura on the tree of life. Gevura, we have Gevura. When God gives you a blessing, mitzad, on the side of Gevura, meaning he gives you a hard time, that's a big blessing. That's a bigger blessing than if it's like Easy Street. Easy Street comes and goes. People win lottery tickets and then they blow it. That's not what you're about. You're about making success. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I cannot understand why people week after week, month after month, year after year are waiting for the RV. It's insane. It's like it's insanity is doing the same thing, making the same mistake twice. It's like get over it, man. If the RV comes, great. I'll be up there. I'll be out there first, man. I'll be out there. I'll take my dongs out of my drawer and I'll go running to the bank. But in the meantime, don't look back. Don't be like Lot's wife. Be like Nachshon and just keep going. Don't use your intellect. Use your heart. Use your das. Use your pineal gland. Connect to Source and move forward. Source will tell you what you need to do next. You will know exactly what to do in the next step. You don't have to make a 5-year plan. You don't have to know where you're going because it'll change anyway. That's my experience. You just have to keep moving. Yes, the economy is going to get really ugly, I think. It could get really ugly, but it doesn't have to get ugly for us because we are like Nachshon. We just keep moving ahead. And if you fail at something, if something goes sour, that's an opportunity. That's like, okay, man, I'm not going down that one. I know God will find another way for me to be successful because God wants you to be a success. And he'll lead you, and you won't necessarily be shown the whole pathway to success, the whole ladder, that Jacob's ladder to the heavens. You'll just be said, you know, I there was this guy that told me something years ago, and I forgot to call him back. And maybe it's like a little thing, a little idea in your head, and that leads to another idea, and that leads to another idea, and after a while, you find yourself doing well, helping others, doing better than you ever imagined. So I would say, man, do not eat shirayim. Do not think you're going to get a blessing and, the RV's coming and Jasar and Asar. Now, I think these things are coming. For sure they're coming. I don't have any doubt that Nassar and Jasar is coming. I have no doubt that the military is in control. I have no doubt that the tribunals are happening. I have no doubt that the economy is about to go bust and the quantum financial system will save me and us. But I'm not waiting. Do not wait because it's that spirit of struggle. It's that spirit of passion. It's that spirit of drive where you get up every morning and you do something, whether you want to do it or not. You feel like it's the right thing to do. That's where we want to be. We do not want to receive great gifts. We will receive great gifts. I have no doubt. But don't waste your time watching the movie when you can progress and do the things that you came here to do, which is no doubt amazing. If you let it happen, if you get out of your intellect, if you let the demon of doubt, you make friends with them, you say, man, I know I know what you say. I can never be successful. I went for 20 years, man, 20 years in the Department of Education. Did I never got one, I maybe got a handful of effective ratings once in a while when I got lucky, when the administrators happened to come into my room at the right time, or sometimes they would even tell me, Ellie, the nice administrators, just do this, this, and this, and I'll give you an effective rating. I never got an effect in 20 years. But I just kept going on. I just kept going on. And that's that spirit, that ability to just keep to be like Nachshon and not, all the other Jews were standing at the Sea of Reeds. I know I've said this 1,000 times. They were all standing at the Sea of Reeds. The Egyptians were bearing down hard. They decided, okay, Moses, what do we do now? What do we do? The Egyptians are coming. Oh no. They said, well, let's surrender. Let's go back. No, let's fight them. No, 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 no. Let's run away. Let's try to run away, even though there's no place to go. And Moses said, let's pray. Let's just pray. And God said to Moses, man, yes, you should pray, but this is not a time for prayer. This is not a time to rely on God. This is a time to develop your own ability to get beyond the demon of doubt and move forward and become successful. The great successes of the world didn't become successes, all of them during good, easy times. It's very easy to be successful in easy times, but then you lose it all. Like when Mr. T was in office, I did very well in the stock market. And then it just sort of like I blew it all because things got hard. It's during the hard times. It's when things are not easy. That's when you really make yourself. And it's not just making money, it's making yourself into a vessel for godliness, into a vessel for success, into a vessel for independence, for standing on our own, for doing the right thing, for doing what our higher self demands of us, which is to live a godly, successful life, bountiful life. But don't expect the handout. Don't expect, I mean, you can expect it. It's coming. There's no doubt that it's coming. But in the meantime, man, be like Nachshon. Remember, all the Jews standing there. What are we going to do, Moses? What are we going to do? Nachshon, who is the ancestor of the Mashiach, of Messiah, of King David. He just kept going. He walked into the sea. And when he got up to here, the sea split. Why did the sea split for him and not for everybody else? Because he wasn't in his intellect. He was in his pineal gland. He was in his faith gland. He was in simple faith. He said, God said, go, and I'm going. He was about to drown, man, and the sea split. What else do we need to know? That's everything. Be like Nachshon. I even have a cup. If you want to remind yourself in the morning, I sell a cup on my son designed it on my YouTube store thing. You could buy a cup that says "Be like Nachshon." You could buy a T-shirt to remind yourself, "Be like Nachshon." Just keep going. Be successful. Be fruitful and multiply. Yes, this is the hardest, probably one of the hardest experiences on the planet. 2020 was devastating. Yes, we've lost a tremendous amount of our people, and a lot of people don't agree with you, but that's your strength. That's why you're so important. Anyway, I know I'm singing to the choir. I know you guys get it, but I get nuts when people are always talking about when is your RV coming? When is it going to be safe? When can we go outside? It's like I went outside, man. I wanted to go for a walk. I wanted to go for a walk today. It was pouring out. I didn't know. I thought it looked to me like it was stopping. So I said, okay, I'm going to go. But it was pouring out. But I went for a walk, man. It was a walk. It was a good walk. It wasn't a bad walk. I got wet. So what? It's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay but you have to try. You have to be out there in order. If you just stay home and wait for things to happen for you, you wait for the Rebbe's going to come and save me. There are a lot of people in my community that do not go out and work. They sit home and they learn Torah all day. And they're like, "Listen, man, I'm doing the right thing. I'm sure God will find a way to reward me." And a lot of them, it does. People do come to reward them. But I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm seeing like when I started doing this, when I started making videos, there's certain big rabbis that, like, I was like, how can I, Ellie Weber, a schmealy nothing, I'm not a rabbi, I'm not a big shot, I'm not an important person, I'm just a struggling school teacher. How can I be on the line when these great rabbis who really know their stuff, they're out there? How can I be on the same platform as them? And now, years later, I'm looking at them and they're raising money. They're raising funds. They're constantly fundraising. I'm like, "What? What? The great rabbis can't walk on their own?" I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize them. I'm just saying, like, and I'm not using myself. I don't, I don't look up to myself that way. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying. Anyway, I'm reading this. It just set me off. Anyway, okay, let's go to some other intel. But you guys get the drift. Be like Noxian, man. Just keep going. Don't look back because we're coming into the Great Awakening. Nothing can stop what's coming. It's all going to be amazing. But it really has, at the end of the day, it has to come from me and you. It cannot be a gift from above. Even if you get gifts from above, you still have to be able to walk like Noxian on your own and do the impossible and do it with simple faith and do it even if it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying do crazy stuff, but you know, try. If you have a job in the matrix, maybe, try something on the side. I mean, I started YouTubing while I had a steady gig. I started doing this. And I would come to work, and during my free time there, I'd be working on my videos. And then when they told me to take a hike because I didn't want to get the ouchie from Dr. Fauci, I said, "Okay, man, I'm good to go because I'm already established on YouTube." And, I didn't know I was gonna get taken down another 5 times after that. I'd already been taken down a few times, but I remember Shaquille and I going like, "You mean there's nothing left of our channel?" Yeah, that was the first time they did it. I had 10,000 people on the channel, and Shaquille and I are going like, "There's gotta be a way around this. They've gotta listen to reason. That surely they're not gonna do this to us." And, like, surely they are gonna do it to you because they don't play by the rules. Okay, so he's got another thing. Okay, so let me see what else our friend, he just put out another piece of intel. All right, let me read this and then we'll call it a night. Oh, this is the same thing he just put out. Yeah, this is the same post. Okay. Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Even the intel, you just can't. I mean, we looked at Whiplash. We thought Whiplash was the cat's pajamas, whatever, and he turned out to be a scammer, man. And we knew about it because he kept dissing the Jewish people and saying we're all worshiping Moilech, which is absolute insanity, and that we weren't the real Jews. And then it turns out he was a scammer anyway. And my friend Stephen is upset because he got banned a few years ago. Just shows you, man. I don't know any better than you do. I'm struggling too. We're all struggling. We're all trying to get through this. It's not an easy time, but it's the it's a fertile time. The ground is plowed. There's a level playing field. There's a disaster across the board that makes it a very good time, a very fertile time to start new projects and start creating the you. And it's not like you go be a different person. It's like become the person you were supposed to be when you were born. And if you go back and you think about what did I want to be when I was a little kid? What did I want to be? I wanted to be president. That's what I wanted, and I became president of my junior high, and then I hated it, and I never wanted to be successful again, and I gave up for, like, 50 years, 40 years. And then all of a sudden I said, "You know what, man? Maybe I could be maybe I'm not really a failure." And I had to hypnotize myself because the demon of doubt was so strong and is so strong. You can convince you, "Oh, well, I can't really do it. I'm really not that smart. I'm not really." You are. You are. And all you have to do is get out of your own way. It's as simple as that. You just have to get beyond your intellect. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's like simple. It's so simple, it's hard. Anyway, yeah, but there's gotta be another way, Silky. I mean, don't get stuck on one pathway. Just be open to God will give you other solutions. You know, there may be a way to start small. There may be a way to do this. There may be a way to help somebody else and work that's what I'm saying. You can't be rigid about these things. You got to be like, I'll try this. If this doesn't work, I'll try something else. You have to go with the flow. And there is a flow. I mean, and everyone has that flow. It's your birthright. It's just like, we're told, oh, well, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, you need another degree, you have to go back to college. Um, my son wants to be an accountant. So what is he doing? He's taking courses online in his spare time. He's celebrating the fact that his job is not as demanding as it could be. So he has free time. So and that's how a lot of people in my community, they don't want to go to college, but they learn the skills. Columbo was born a woman. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't, Marcia, I just don't go with, I mean, this for me, this doesn't really resonate. I mean, I don't, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm glad it works for you. I just, you know, the idea that somebody else is holier than me, it sounds good, but it's not going to necessarily give me a feeling that like I can do on my own. Maybe it's good to depend. I think that goes with the Shariam thing, man. I don't know. That's just my feeling. Yeah, John Wayne was born a woman, really? His name was Marion. That's pretty weird. God is with us now, even if we disagree. Yeah, you can disagree with God. Thank you, Quantum Portal. I appreciate the support, but yeah, and it's not like it's not even like me. It's not like I'm not anyone special. I'm not like somebody like we want to be like Ellie, but it's just like be like yourself. That's the real lesson here. It's like be you, be the best you can be, and it's very accessible to you. It's just a matter of knowing that you deserve it and start resonating, and it comes from inside. It's not going to come, I believe, I mean, for me it comes from inside. It comes with me having the feeling that like, I know what I want. I like for me success means I don't have to think about money ever. I don't think about it. Now 2 weeks ago something happened. I forget what it was. Probably YouTube, something with YouTube, yeah, I lost yeah, they took me down for a week, and that was like for 2 weeks, I had to really think about money, and it was a good experience, like, because I had to wait 2 weeks to get my camera, but now that I'm back in the flow, it's like I just soundproof my whole studio. I mean, that's brings me joy. That's what I love to do is to work on my channel. I love this. I love doing this. And I want you guys to have too, whatever it is that you love, raising horses or whatever, that that you deserve to have what you love, and you will have it. Do we get the lights? You know what that is? That's the fog back there. It's really misty in on the water, and I think it is for chosen is also good Tavach. Gila in house. Gila, Gila, Gila's my go-to girl, man. She gives me all my inspiration. She was just so, you I'm just gonna say, I know I've said it before, but I just want you to know that Gila used to go toe to toe with Whiplash. She used to write him. She used to say, your whole opinion about the Jewish people is insane. Insane to say that we're not the real Jews. We're not the real Jews except when we deserve to be punished. Then we're the real Jews. It's like, it's just but she was like David and Goliath, man. She like kept with her slingshots. She kept shooting at Whiplash, and now we know he's a creep. We knew he was a creep, but we thought, okay, maybe his investment thing, maybe Emily's on the money. I don't know. I'm not dissing Emily necessarily. Maybe she knows something we don't know, but I don't know. It's just we're finding out the guy's a creep. So, um, but Gila was right in there, right in his face, man. She every time he put out a thing against the Jews, she was right there, and the big rabbis don't even know who Whiplash is. The Jewish world doesn't know who Whiplash is, and she was out there like on her own. I helped a little bit, but we were out there by ourselves, and this, I don't know if you saw, he put out this film, 130,000 Jews supposedly worship Molech. That's not Jewish. It's not Jewish. We do not worship Molech. And for these people to be putting out this insane thing on 3 channels because he tried to make himself look like he was, getting agreement from Tyranny and Marilyn Chambers. They all put out the same garbage. And a lot of patriots, I really depended on his news because it sounded like he knew what he was doing. But he was constantly putting out dates that were wrong. He was constantly putting out anti-Jewish material, and his assets didn't necessarily make sense. But anyway, the failure, like I consider my failure, and we don't really know at the end of the day if Lobster's a total. I don't know if Lobster's bad. I think it was just some of Whiplash's, he was scamming us. He said a couple of years ago, I remember him saying, if 75% of my investments are good and 25 are scams, you'll still do very well. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but I never said, okay, man, I'm making all my money through Lobster, or I'm making all my money from XRP, or I'm making all my money from XLM or anything else. I always said, man, just keep going, just be like Nokshan. And at the end of the day, just I didn't say I'm going to find a company where I can make some money. I didn't say that. I I had several people telling me that I needed to make contact with Mr. Trumptastic. Francine kept saying, you got to meet with him live. Other people told me, you've got to meet with Mr. Trumptastic. When I met with Mr. Trumptastic, what did he say? Call Jay. He says, call Jay, man. Check it out. And that's what I'm saying. It's like God will present you with the next thing. And then while I was doing that, I somehow hooked up with Nirmala, who sees sacred geometry, and she said, "Oh, I don't want to say. You know what? I heard from several sources. Check out the patches, man. This will reset your DNA like ASEA does. Okay, so now." I'm starting to make a little bit of income. I got creamed by YouTube this month and last month and many times before. I thought, I got it made. I told my peeps, man, I'm making big money on YouTube. I'm set now. And then I come down the next day for breakfast. I wake up the next morning, I turn on the internet, and my channel's down. And this happened over and over again. And so, but and it, maybe something else that'll, what I'm saying, I don't stop. I don't say, okay, you never count your money while you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Just keep going, man. Be like Noxian. That's my thing for today. Anyway, I think you guys get the point. I'm really happy to be back. Shabbos was excellent. There is a bird called the plover, and plover is not the same as sandlings. I think there's another bird called sandlings, which is the same size. The plovers are not the big ones with the red beaks. I thought those are called oyster catchers. I thought they were talking about the oyster catchers, which are pretty funky looking birds, and they loved it. They loved to talk to me and scream at me and stuff. So I thought they were talking about, but they're talking about these little plover birds that are tiny birds. They're like this big. They're the size of a fist, if that. They're tiny little birds, and they can be mistaken for I think they're called sandlings, which are the same size, but the sandlings travel in a pack. There are hundreds of when you see sandlings, there are like 100 of them. They're all over the place. But the plover birds are singletons, and they are mating on my beach. So maybe tomorrow I won't go on the beach again. I doubt it, but I doubt I'll listen to you know well, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I got off on a tangent, but whenever I hear about the RV, I lose it, man. I'm just like, why? Why are people? Why? Why? I mean, no offense to Mark Z. I think he's a sweetheart. He's been very supportive of the channel, but we don't have to do. We don't have to live like a refugee. Just keep going forward and find things that work and try and fail and know that failure is part of success. You have to fail a lot. I sort of somehow knew that because I failed a lot, big time, like lots and lots of failures, huge. YouTube was just one of the many failures that I've done in the last couple of years. But I just keep going, man. And it looks Okay, so I'm coming back with a less improved, camera just to say goodbye. Anyway, sorry about that. I forgot to plug in. Simple mistakes, right? Um, anyway, we will see you in the morning. Just know that, man, we're coming to the Great Awakening, and it's going to be amazing. The era of Mashiach, of Messiah, the Lamb and the Wolf and the Lion. Everyone's going to be kumbaya, okay? And there'll be unity. It's not going to be Jews and Christians and this guy and that guy and this one did it. It's all together. Where we go one, we go all. And that means also if one person, I'm not talking about me, but if one person ascends to a high level, we all ascend to a high level, but we don't need to wait. We don't need to wait for that person to come along. We can do it now on our own. And I think in the end of the day, that's really what it's about, that no one's here to save us. And that's a false concept that the dudes have been putting on us, that somebody's going to come and save us. Don't wait. Save yourself. If you have to, go to the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? Messiah is going to come. But right now, I'm the Messiah. I have to save myself and not wait for somebody or something or some combination of things to save you. Just do it. Do what you got to do. And don't be afraid to fail. And don't be afraid to fail a lot of times. Failure is just part of success. It's just like another stepping stone you needed to go over to get to the goods. And the goods, the real goods are that forward movement. It's not getting there. It's being on the journey. It's being like Noction. Just keep going forward. And whether the sea splits for you in that moment or not, the whole thing is that you got up and did something. And that's eternal, man. That's pretty good. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning before anything else funky happens to my camera or anything else, but we're heading for a new era and nothing can stop us. So, yeah, don't expect the end of the world. Yeah, exactly right. Expect the Great Awakening. Yeah, because you're going to see a lot of weird stuff. Don't watch the movie. If it's too upsetting for you, turn it off. Watch your own movie. Be in your own adventure, man. That's really where it's at. And like I really encourage everyone to. I mean, I don't watch movies because I want to be in my own adventure, and sometimes my own adventure sucks. I mean, I make huge mistakes, but I just keep going forward. I do not I don't count my money while I'm sitting. I don't count my money. Period. I'm not the kind of person who balances his checking account. I owe lots of money. I'm not in a great financial situation. I don't care. I still keep going and the reason I keep going is because I'm not looking down. I'm looking ahead. Anyway, God bless you guys. Thanks for putting up with me, and we'll see you in the morning. It's going to be a great week. Just know that you make it great. That it's up to you to don't wait for the Shirayim, don't wait for the Rebbe to pass you the crumbs from his plate. Our Rebbe said, man, you ain't eating my crumbs. You're going to make your own crumbs. You're going to do your own. You're going to be great yourself. You don't need me. And that is brilliant. That is a real leader who tells his people, man, it's not about me. All right. God bless you guys. Have sweet dreams and plenty of dreams and use your pineal gland and make sure you eat lots of healthy, good food. And yeah, we'll see you in the morning. God bless. Love you guys.